Good morning and welcome to AQA GCSE Business Studies, Section 4 Human Resources, and we're looking today at motivating employees. This is the first of a two-part series featuring myself, Mr. Hill. This time we're hoping that by the end of the session you'll know what is meant by the term motivation and the benefits to businesses having motivated staff. So today, what I want to start off with is two questions why. So first off, why do you go to school? And then secondly, why do your parents or guardians go to work? So what I'd like to do is pause the video now and just have a little think about that. Okay, so what do you think? Some of you might have suggested that you go to school because you have to. Some of you might have said that you enjoy learning and learning new things. Some of you might have suggested that you want to hang out with your friends. Whereas your parents or guardians go to work maybe for money, maybe they enjoy their job, or maybe because they own their own business, are wanting to do it because it's something that they're particularly passionate about. The key term is motivation, and this is a range of factors that influence people to behave in certain ways. So why do you want to do something? Activity 1 looks at Abraham Maslow. That is this guy in the bottom right hand corner. He was a motivational theorist who believed or came up with this concept of the pyramid of needs. His key ideas were that the most important things fit at the bottom of this pyramid, and unless we achieve those things, we're not going to be motivated. Right the way up to the top is the last thing you'd want to be very highly motivated. So what I'd like you to do for activity 1, pause the video at this point and give it a go. On the first pyramid on your workbook, can you please put this in the order of what you think would be the most important for you? So put at the bottom what you think is the most important out of these 5, all the way up to the top as the least important. So I give you the opportunity now to pause the video, after which we will have a look at what Maslow said. So this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom we have physiological needs, so food, water, breathing, sleep. Remember, if you turned up to school hungry, maybe you didn't eat enough, or maybe you even skipped breakfast, or if you were up last night gaming rather than going to sleep, you might struggle on the next day to be motivated to do tasks, and it's exactly the same at work. Secondly is safety needs. Now, we're mainly talking about contracts of employment in this case. So we're wanting our employees to feel like they belong with the company and that they're not going to be sacked anytime soon. In the olden days, people used to be threatened to be sacked all the time. People were constantly worried about losing their jobs. But if you think about it, if you were constantly under the threat that you'd lose your livelihood and would be unable to pay your bills, then you're not going to be the most motivated individual. Whereas if you feel fairly secure in your job, you'll be able to plan for the future, you'll be more motivated to go for that promotion and do the best that you can because you feel like the company is looking after you. The third level is belonging. Now, a lot of people, whilst they're at school, have their own friendship groups, and part of the reason why we discussed earlier why you might want to go to school is to see your friends. That's exactly the same at work. If you feel like your colleagues are your friends and you get along, just like me and Mr. P, being the dream team that we are, then you're more likely to be more productive. The fourth level is about esteem, confidence. So for example, if your teacher constantly tells you your work is rubbish and that you're no good and that you're not very good at what you do, you're not likely to feel particularly motivated. But if your teacher encourages you to do well, tries to help you and has respect for you, then you're more likely to feel motivated and actually want to do the work. And it's exactly the same in the workplace. If your bosses treat you like rubbish, you will be rubbish. And the last one is about self-actualization. Now, once we've achieved all these basic levels now, it's about having a job that's fulfilling. So, morality in the sense that, do you feel like you're doing the right thing? Creativity, does it give you an opportunity to do things that you wouldn't normally do and express your creative side, to do things differently? Problem solving, so that you have a difficult task and it challenges you, so that you feel like you are actually doing something that is worthwhile. I know that within my job, all these sorts of things come up. So what I'd like you to do now is thinking about all those things, about all the things that we just discussed within Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'd like you to come up with 2 BLT paragraphs. Remember, that's because, leading to, therefore, paragraphs to explain the possible benefits of being motivated. So we might say something along the lines of, if staff are more motivated, this is beneficial because this leads to therefore this. So remember, we're going to be discussing about how it's beneficial and what benefit there might be to a company. So pause the video now and have a go at this particular task. Okay, so some of the things that you could have talked about are increased productivity, improved employee retention, higher levels of sales, and improved recruitment and selection. So let's have a look at the key words here. Productivity, as we can see in the top left, is all about how much we can produce within a particular given time. So if staff actually want to work for you, they'll want to work harder. So they'll produce more within a given time. They won't want to be standing around. They'll just want to get the job done. And the impact that this has on the business brings us to our second key term, and that's average cost. Average cost is about the cost per unit of output. So we take the total cost of the company, divide it by the number of units. And if productivity is higher, these average costs are falling because even though the staff are paid the same, they are producing more units of output. The second one is employee retention. All retention means is we have a look at the root word retain, to keep, and it's the number of employees that are kept. So if we have a higher retention rate, we've got more staff that are loyal to the business, probably because they want to stick around. And that again means lower costs for the business, because if I'm not having to go out and hire new staff, train them up to a whole new level to bring them back, okay, then that means that I can reduce my costs. All of my staff can be as effective as possible for as long as possible. Now, the third one looks at higher levels of sales. So if we're thinking within a sales environment, if your staff are happy and pleased to work there, they're more likely to want to sell the products because they're going to believe in those products. They're going to want to work for the business. Okay, So they'll work harder to please the customers. A happy member of staff is more likely to rub off that happy feel onto those customers. If the customers have a good experience as a result of that happiness, they're more likely to come back in the future, recommend your business to others, and therefore, again, we can talk about greater levels of revenue and maybe profit. And the last one is about improved recruitment and selection. So, as the reputation of the business improves, the quality of the candidates applying will go up. Because if staff that work for your business say, oh, I really love it here, it's a really good company to work for, they're going to recommend it to other people. The word will get out, and the best quality recruits are going to be choosing a business with a good reputation over one where they've got a poor reputation and low levels of retention. Because they'll start asking, well, why would I want to work in a company like that when I have all the options available to me? So we'll have higher numbers of candidates applying and a better quality, leading to all sorts of benefits for the business as a whole. Now what I'd like you to do is have a look at the case studies on page 193 if you have your own book. If not, remember the case studies are on 365 and available to you. Please email me or Mr. P if you need any help with that. For those that are bright and smart, like I know all of you are, may I suggest the stretch challenge for you? So suggest how Jaguar Land Rover could motivate its staff and how this method would work. So thinking about if you were a manager at Jaguar Land Rover, what would you do to motivate staff? I might suggest that you have a look on YouTube for different companies that offer motivational techniques ahead of the next lesson. Okay, so thank you very much for your work today. If you can fill in the tweet to say one thing that you've learned. As a result, creative hashtags are encouraged as always, but keep them appropriate. Thank you and good night.